You think you're better than all of us, don't you? The entire Lakers locker room went dead silent. Rookie Austin Reaves had just said what nobody else dared to say to LeBron James' face. What happened in the next 30 seconds would change both of their careers forever. But before I tell you about LeBron's response that left everyone speechless, you need to understand why this 23-year-old kid from Arkansas thought he could challenge the king. It was March 15, 2022. The Lakers' locker room at Crypto.com Arena felt like a pressure cooker about to explode. They'd just blown another fourth-quarter lead, their playoff hopes hanging by a thread. LeBron sat in his corner stall, head in his hands, the weight of another disappointing season crushing down on him. At 37, questions about his legacy were getting louder. Was the king finally losing his crown? But across the room, someone was watching. Someone who'd been keeping quiet for months, absorbing every word, every gesture, every moment of frustration. Austin Reaves, the undrafted rookie from Arkansas who wasn't supposed to be here. The kid who'd fought his way onto the roster through sheer determination. He'd been silent all season, knowing his place, respecting the hierarchy. Until tonight. What nobody in that locker room knew was that Reaves had been carrying something heavy for weeks, something that had been eating at him every single practice, every single game. 3 weeks earlier, during a closed-door team meeting, LeBron had said something that cut deep, not just to Reaves, but to every young player on that roster. Some of y'all are just here for the ride. Some of y'all don't understand what it takes to win at this level. Some of y'all are satisfied with just being in the league. The words weren't directed at anyone specifically, but Reaves felt them like a punch to the gut. For 3 weeks, he'd replayed those words. For 3 weeks, he'd watched LeBron's body language on the court. The eye rolls, the frustrated gestures, the way he'd look at the younger players like they were disappointments. Tonight, after another loss, after watching LeBron throw his hands up in frustration one more time, something inside the rookie finally snapped. The locker room was heavy with the usual post-loss silence. Players changing clothes, some staring at their phones, others just sitting with their thoughts. LeBron was pulling off his jersey when Reaves stood up. Every muscle in the rookie's body was tense, his jaw set with determination. LeBron. The king looked up, slightly annoyed. What? Reaves walked closer, his voice steady but loaded with months of pent-up emotion. You think you're better than all of us, don't you? The jersey fell from LeBron's hands. Every conversation in the room stopped. Anthony Davis looked up from his phone. Russell Westbrook froze mid-step. Even the equipment managers turned around. The silence was so complete you could hear the air conditioning humming. LeBron's eyes narrowed. Excuse me? What happened next defied every expectation in that room. LeBron didn't yell. He didn't storm out. He didn't even raise his voice. Instead, he did something that shocked everyone, including Reaves. He smiled, not a mocking smile, not a condescending smirk, a genuine, almost proud smile. Finally, LeBron said, his voice quiet but carrying across the silent room. Finally, someone in here has some fire. Reaves blinked, completely thrown off. This wasn't the reaction he'd prepared for. LeBron stood up, walking slowly toward the rookie. Every player in the room held their breath, expecting an explosion. Instead, LeBron's voice remained calm, almost conversational. You want to know what I think, Austin? I think you're the only person in this room who's been paying attention. You think I don't see it? LeBron continued, his eyes locked on Reaves. You think I don't notice when guys are just going through the motions? When they're satisfied with mediocrity? The room was still frozen. AD had completely forgotten about his phone. Westbrook was staring like he was watching a movie. That comment I made 3 weeks ago, it wasn't about you, Austin. It was about the guys who didn't react the way you just did. LeBron stepped closer, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. but somehow everyone could hear every word. You want to know the difference between champions and everyone else? Champions get angry at the right things. Champions don't just accept when someone questions their heart. Reaves stood there, his prepared speech completely forgotten. He'd come ready for war and found himself in the middle of a masterclass. But here's what you need to understand, Rook. That fire you just showed me, that's exactly what this team needs. But if you're going to challenge me, you better be ready to back it up. LeBron walked to his locker and pulled out a piece of paper, a stat sheet from tonight's game. You played 18 minutes tonight, Austin. You had 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. You shot 2 for 6 from the field. He held up the paper so everyone could see it. Now, you just challenged the guy who had 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists in 38 minutes, at 37 years old. The room was so quiet you could hear heartbeats. So here's my challenge to you, young fella. You want to question my effort? My leadership? Fine. But I want you to match my energy for the rest of this season. I want you to study film like I study film. I want you to be in the gym at 6 a.m. like I'm in the gym at 6 a.m. LeBron stepped even closer, his voice now carrying the authority of someone who'd won 4 championships. And if you can do that, if you can prove that your words match your work ethic, then maybe you'll earn the right to challenge me again. Austin Reaves stood there for what felt like an eternity. The entire Lakers roster was watching this masterclass in leadership unfold in real time. Finally, the rookie nodded. Deal. But then he did something that made LeBron's eyebrows raise with interest. But I've got a condition too. The audacity was breathtaking. Players around the room exchanged glances. Was this kid really negotiating with LeBron James? When I prove that I can match your work ethic, when I prove that I belong here, I want you to promise me something. LeBron crossed his arms, intrigued. What's that? I want you to stop treating the young guys on this team like we're just lucky to be here. We didn't make it this far by accident. We didn't get to the Lakers by being soft. The room held its collective breath. Some of us are hungry, LeBron. Some of us want to win just as bad as you do. But we can't show you that fire if you've already written us off. The silence that followed was different. This wasn't shock anymore. This was respect being born in real time. LeBron studied the rookie's face for a long moment. Then, slowly, he extended his hand. Deal. When they shook hands, something shifted in that locker room. Every player felt it. The dynamic had changed forever. What nobody expected was how quickly LeBron kept his side of the bargain. The very next morning, at 5:47 a.m., Austin Reaves walked into the Lakers' practice facility. He figured he'd be the first one there, maybe get some shots up before anyone else arrived. Instead, he found LeBron already on the court, drenched in sweat, working on his footwork with a trainer. LeBron looked up, nodded, and said just 2 words. You're late. From that day forward, everything changed. LeBron started talking to the younger players differently. Not as passengers on his championship quest, but as contributors to it. He began involving them in film sessions, asking for their input on plays, treating them like equals instead of students. But the real transformation was in Austin Reaves. 3 weeks after that locker room confrontation, something incredible happened. It was April 5th, 2022. Lakers versus Nuggets. A must-win game for playoff positioning. 4th quarter. Lakers down by 8 with 4 minutes left. LeBron had fouled out, something that almost never happens. As he walked to the bench, the weight of the season seemed to settle on his shoulders. But then Austin Reaves did something that made the entire Crypto.com arena erupt. He scored 11 points in the final 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Not just any 11 points. Clutch shots that would make Kobe proud. A steal that led to a dunk. a three-pointer with 23 seconds left that put the Lakers ahead for good. As the final buzzer sounded and his teammates mobbed him, Reaves looked over at LeBron on the bench. LeBron was on his feet, applauding harder than anyone. In the post-game interview, a reporter asked LeBron about Reaves' performance. "Austin Reaves just showed the world what I've been seeing in practice for weeks," LeBron said, his voice filled with genuine pride. "That young man has championship DNA. He doesn't back down from anyone or anything." Then LeBron said something that would make headlines across the sports world. "Earlier this season, Austin challenged me in our locker room. He had every right to, because champions don't just accept mediocrity, they demand excellence from everyone around them, including their leaders." The reporter's eyes widened. This was news. A lot of people would have been offended by what he said to me. But I was proud, because that's exactly the kind of player you want next to you in the trenches. But what LeBron said next would shock everyone. "Austin Reaves taught me something that night. He reminded me that leadership isn't about being above criticism. It's about being worthy of the respect you demand." Fast forward to today. Austin Reaves is no longer just the undrafted rookie from Arkansas. He's become one of LeBron's most trusted teammates. In crucial moments, LeBron looks for him on the court. In team meetings, LeBron asks for his input. But here's the most incredible part of this story. Last month, in an interview with ESPN, Reaves revealed something that nobody knew about that locker room confrontation. "LeBron called me 2 hours after that game," Reaves said, his voice still filled with disbelief. "I thought he was going to tell me I was being traded or cut from the team." The interviewer leaned forward. "What did he actually say?" Reaves smiled. "He told me that in 20 years of professional basketball, only 3 people had ever challenged him to his face like that. Michael Jordan was one, Kobe Bryant was another, and the third, me." But there was more to that phone call. Something Reaves had never shared publicly until that ESPN interview. "LeBron told me he'd been waiting all season for someone on our team to show that kind of fire," Reaves continued. "He said he'd been pushing buttons, testing people, trying to see who had championship heart." The revelation was stunning. LeBron's apparent frustration with his teammates hadn't been frustration at all. It had been a test. He told me that night, "Austin, I've won championships with guys who were afraid to challenge me. And I've won championships with guys who weren't. But the guys who weren't afraid? Those are the ones who helped me become better." Today, when young players join the Lakers, LeBron tells them the Austin Reaves story. Not as a cautionary tale, but as inspiration. "If you see something that needs to be said, say it," LeBron tells them. "If you think the team can be better, speak up. If you think I can be better, challenge me. But," he always adds with a smile, "make sure you're ready to back it up." The rookie who dared to challenge the king didn't just earn his respect, he helped LeBron become a better leader. And LeBron. He proved that true champions aren't threatened by challenges. They're strengthened by them. So the next time someone in authority seems impossible to approach, remember Austin Reaves. Remember that sometimes the most important conversations are the hardest ones to start. Remember that respect isn't just given, it's earned through courage. And remember that the best leaders don't silence challengers. They listen to them, learn from them, and lift them up. The rookie who challenged LeBron James didn't just change his own career. He reminded us all that greatness recognizes greatness, even when it comes from the most unexpected places. What challenge have you been afraid to make? What conversation have you been avoiding because someone seems too important, too successful, too intimidating? Maybe it's time to find your voice. Maybe it's time to channel your inner Austin Reaves. Because sometimes, the person you're afraid to challenge is actually waiting for someone brave enough to speak up. Have you ever challenged someone in authority and been surprised by their response? Share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories that reveal the real psychology behind greatness.